In just over a century, film has gone from a mere novelty to high art, from flickering black and white clips to billion-dollar cinematic universes. Let's take a cinematic journey from the moving train in 1895 to the digital raccoons and flying men in capes of today. This transformation wasn't just about better cameras or flashier effects. It's been a revolution in storytelling, sound, color, and creativity. Let's dive in. 1. The first motion pictures and the birth of cinema. It all began in the late 1800s. Thomas Edison and the Lumiere brothers were at the forefront, experimenting with moving images. The very first films were simple: people walking, trains arriving, workers leaving a factory. But those grainy clips captured something special. For the first time in history, time could be recorded and replayed. Life, in motion, preserved forever. In 1895, when the Lumiere brothers screened their short film to a public audience in Paris, cinema was born. It wasn't just entertainment, it was a revolution. 2. The invention of sound, the talkies. For a while, films were silent, accompanied only by live piano music. Actors exaggerated their movements and text cards filled in the gaps. But everything changed in 1927. A film called The Jazz Singer hit theaters. It was the first major movie with synchronized dialogue. Audiences were stunned, actors were speaking, stories became richer, emotional connection deepened, and a new term entered the lexicon, the talkie. Sound gave characters a voice and gave films a soul. 3. The Golden Age of Hollywood. The 1930s to the 1950s became known as the Golden Age of Hollywood. Movie studios like MGM, Warner Brothers, and Paramount ruled the industry. This era gave us legends: Humphrey Bogart, Audrey Hepburn, Cary Grant, and Marilyn Monroe. It gave us unforgettable stories: Gone with the Wind, Casablanca, Singin' in the Rain. Filmmaking matured. The language of cinema, framing, editing, lighting, storytelling began to take shape. Movies weren't just spectacles anymore, they became an art form. 4. Color films change everything. In 1939, The Wizard of Oz did something revolutionary. It transitioned from black and white to vibrant technicolor mid-scene. It wasn't just eye candy, it was emotional, symbolic, and artistic. Color opened new doors. Directors could now use hues and tones to express mood, time, emotion, even foreshadowing. It transformed how stories were told and how they were felt. 5. The history of animation. While live action evolved, so did animation. Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in 1937 proved that full-length animated films could move audiences just as deeply. From hand-drawn cells to the smooth fluidity of Pixar's Toy Story, the first fully computer-animated film, animation has pushed the boundaries of creativity and imagination. Today, CGI dominates everything from fantasy epics to subtle background effects. But its roots go back to pencil sketches and endless hours of frame-by-frame artistry. 6. The influence of film noir. In the 1940s and 50s, a darker genre took hold: film noir. These were gritty, shadowy, morally complex films that reflected post-war anxiety and disillusionment. Movies like Double Indemnity and The Maltese Falcon introduced a style that still echoes in modern thrillers and detective stories. Low lighting, sharp dialogue, anti-heroes, and femme fatales. Film noir wasn't just a genre, it was a mood. 7. Women in early cinema. What many don't know is that women were trailblazers in early cinema. In the silent film era, pioneers like Alice Guy Blash and Lois Weber were directing, writing, and innovating before Hollywood became male-dominated. Their influence paved the way for generations of female filmmakers who are now reshaping the industry with bold, original visions. 8. The rise of superhero movies. Fast forward to the 2000s, and a different kind of hero arrived. With the launch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, superhero films became more than just summer blockbusters. They became cultural events. They mixed action, drama, comedy, and deep character arcs into global phenomena. But beyond the explosions and capes, they tapped into timeless themes: identity, responsibility, sacrifice. And they brought people together, from die-hard comic fans to casual viewers. 9. Indie films and the democratization of filmmaking. As big studios grew, so did the indie scene. Smaller, personal films like The Blair Witch Project, Moonlight, and Lady Bird showed that you didn't need a $200 million budget to make something powerful. Digital cameras and editing software made filmmaking more accessible. Filmmakers from all backgrounds could now tell their stories their way. 10. streaming and the internet era. Today the internet has changed everything again. Streaming platforms like Netflix, Amazon, and Disney Plus have given filmmakers direct access to global audiences. Social media drives word of mouth. A movie can be discovered overnight and go viral worldwide. And it's not just how we watch, it's what we watch. Documentaries, international films, experimental shorts, the diversity of voices and stories has exploded. Film is no longer confined to theaters, it's everywhere and it's for everyone. And that's the journey so far. From silent shadows to immersive worlds, from reels of film to lines of code, cinema has evolved into a mirror of humanity. It reflects who we are, who we've been, and who we might become. Movies aren't just entertainment, they're emotion, they're memory, they're art, and they've only just begun to evolve. If you found this journey through film history fascinating, don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the stories behind the screen. This is just one frame in a much bigger picture. Thanks for watching.